My Skunkworks was about Python, Paxos, and Jepsen. My goals were to understand Paxos, particularly Multi-Paxos, and to play around with Jepsen. So the first problem was to actually find a spec for Multi-Paxos. The part-time Parliament paper is Greek to me. Paxos Made Simple doesn't cover Multi-Paxos. The moderately complex paper is actually monstrously complex. I found this great paper from 2016 that gave me a TLA plus spec for Multi-Paxos, and that's what I used. So I implemented this in Python in about a week, and it lacks a lot of modern features like a leader and elections or the ability to add or remove nodes. The shared state among the servers is a list of integers, so a client can send a number and the reply contains the new list of numbers. I used requests in Flask and about 600 lines of Python. It's slow and buggy, and the memory and network usage grow without bound. The important question, though, is it linearizable, which you can find out more about in this paper. So to test it, I used Jepsen. This is the consistency checker for distributed systems by Kyle Kingsbury. And yes, it's named after Carly Rae Jepsen because an inconsistent system will call you maybe. Jepsen is a test framework written in Clojure, so you have to learn some Clojure to use it, but Kingsbury's written some friendly tutorials. Jepsen records all of the operations that occur as a history, and you can see that there's a lot of concurrency and overlap here. And then you have to provide it with a model in Clojure of how the system ought to behave so that it can see if the system conformed. This was actually the hardest part of the project for me, was writing all of this Clojure. Then I deployed the system to 3 EC2 nodes, and the 4th node was a controller which runs Jepsen and the clients, and also a nemesis, which randomly causes network partitions. Jepsen seems to show that my Multi-Paxos is linearizable, but you should always be suspicious of success. So I deliberately introduced a couple of bugs, and each of them resulted in an error from Jepsen. So if you want to learn more, here's the code. I learned Paxos fairly well, and I also got to see how Jepsen works.